G'day everyone and welcome to September's Take 5 art collaboration. The beautiful Sylvia from our collaboration has picked the prompts this month, and the first prompt that she has picked is a map. So I've gone to our local Refidex. So I've got a really old Refidex, or a street directory you might call them. That's what we call them here in Australia, Refidexes. So I've picked my suburb of Oxenford here on the Gold Coast, just behind Movie World, and I live around here somewhere. So I'm going to use that. The second prompt that Sylvia has picked is add an element from nature. Now, recently my hubby and I went up to the Sunshine Coast for a week's holiday, and I grabbed some sand from the beach because I could. And it's got some shells in there, but I don't think I'll use the shells, so I'm going to use the sand. But I also picked up off the ground some paper bark. I thought I might try and do something with that as well. The third prompt is to add a picture. Now, I do have a couple of pictures here of my family, and these were taken here on the Gold Coast a few years ago. So I've got a couple of those pictures. The fourth prompt is to add some music sheet. So I've got an old piece of music paper here that I've picked out of a music book. And the fifth prompt is to use the colour green. So I've got different greens here that I think that I might try and incorporate. I don't know what I'm going to do with the colour green because it's not a colour that I use very often, so I will be coming out of my comfort zone today. So all the art collaboration members will be listed down below. Don't forget to check out these very talented 11 other ladies. They are also talented. So all my products that I will be using will be over on my website, and my website link will be down below. And don't forget, if you are taking part in this, please use the hashtag Take5Art, where we can actually see what you're creating as well, and also link you to our Take 5 Art collaboration through Kyra's website. So I'm going to get started. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, so I've just picked out all the prompts and I'm just going to see where it takes me. So let's get started. To start off with, I'm going to add some colour to my already gessoed page, and I've got some Semco acrylic paint here in Flesh and Ocean, which I'm going to use because this is going to represent flesh, the sand of the Gold Coast, and the blue is the sky. So I'm just dry brushing this on. I'm not adding any water, and I've just got a wider brush that I'm just going to apply the paint on. Now, after drying my page, I am just going to add some gesso, just with the same brush. I'm just going to give it a bit of a whitewash effect. So after I apply the paint to my page, I will get a damp baby wipe and just wipe that away. And that'll give it that bit of a whitewash look to my page. So after drying off my page, I am going to use this stamp here and use some Memento Dewdrop in Rich Cocoa, just to add a little bit of interest to the page. This was purchased through AliExpress, and all the links to the supplies will be over on my website. Now with my map here, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I do want to use it as a bit of a focal point. So I'm just going to tear all the sides off just to give it that rough look. While I'm tearing, I'm just got my music paper here, and I'm just going to tear these into strips in readiness for my next step. So after tearing the music paper into into strips, I am going to colour this with some Distress Oxide in Lucky Clover. So I do really love this technique of scrunching things up and adding some ink over the top to enhance those creases. I really do love this. So I'm just going to finish off by adding some splashes of water because it's Distress Oxide and giving it that bit of an oxidization look and drying that off. So then I'll just quickly hit the heat gun to it, just make sure it's all dry, and then I'm going to add some Memento Rich Cocoa just over the top to enhance those creases. And I must say, I've been doing this for the past month and I really do love this technique. Everything has scrunched up paper with ink over the top of it. It's really great. So I'm just going to lay this down and just see how I go, but I feel that I'm gonna add some of this paper bark to my page. So this paper bark is from a paper bark tree and it is just like paper. It is it's really layered and it just drops off the trees. So I got that from where we were staying at the Sunshine Coast in May. So just going through, I don't want too much green, but I did just want some green droplets, and I'm just using my Distress Spray in Cracked Pistachio, just giving that a dry, and then I'm going to add this underneath my music paper, so I'll just glue that down. So I'm just adding my photos and map, just looking at placement on the page just to see where I want it, and this is where I've decided that I'm going to use the Memento in Tuxedo Black just around the outside of my map here. This will enhance it on my page. So I know I've already used one element from nature, but I decided that I'm going to use sand, and what I'm doing here is I've just got some PVA glue. I'm just going to add the sand, mix it up, and I'm going to use it a bit like modelling paste and run it through a stencil. So I've got these dots here, and it looks really good and a pretty cool effect. So I'm hoping my sand will stay in place. So I'll just give that a dry off with my heat gun. And I've just got some brown Semco acrylic paint here, which I'm just going to add a bit of water to. And I've got an old toothbrush that I like to use to flick the paint onto the page with. So it's a bit messy, but it's so much fun. Now this is where my battery ran out and I didn't realise that I wasn't filming, so anyway, so I found this quote, the love of a family is life's greatest blessing. And what I did was I just printed it up on some photocopy paper and then I sprayed it with some Heidi Swap Colour Shine in Seafoam, just to give it that little bit of a green tinge. I cut it out, stuck it on my page, and then I've just gotten my Posca pen in black and just going around the outside edge of my quote. Decided to do the photos as well, so the pictures are outlined also. Now I didn't stop there, I wanted to add some squiggles onto the page edge here as well, so I'm doing that. And then that's my page done for September. So I hope you do like what I've done with Sylvia's prompts, and thank you, Sylvia, for picking some wonderful prompts. If you have enjoyed watching this, please give me your thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to my channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. And until next time, happy crafting. See ya!